So everybody's going to go, well, Shannon Phillips is going to come on Real Talk. Ryan's going to tee up the Alberta pension plan idea, and she is just going to pull out her blowtorch and just scorch this thing to smithereens. Let's get into, how you feel about the idea. You've had a lot of time to think about it, I'm sure.
Well, it's a monumentally stupid idea to be gambling with Albertans' pensions like this. It really is. And, what we've heard over the last 2 weeks from Albertans is exactly what we heard during the election campaign. Into my email inbox alone as a local MLA, I've had about 1,500 emails. Overwhelming opposition. There's a reason why pollsters are reporting, 75% of Albertans oppose this idea, even going back to the Fair Deal panel. It is confusing as to why the UCP wants to walk straight in to this particular electoral buzzsaw, but they've chosen to do it. They've convinced themselves of a bunch of stuff that isn't true. And it goes to show you that Albertans are just really, really uncomfortable with this idea of gambling with their retirement. That's the risk that people see. It's the risk to what their benefits might be through to the future, the political risk and political interference that this proposal introduces, the fact that the government is then distracted from what should be its real priorities, which is restoring affordability, housing, healthcare, those kinds of crises, and also the risk of being able to retire somewhere else or bring your pension contributions from somewhere else if you're moving to Alberta. It's those kinds of things that make people really, really uncomfortable.
So, people are going to say, well, the promise of lower contributions and higher returns and immediately more benefits for seniors that are collecting the pension will sway some people's opinion. Do you have reason to believe that that's not true?
Well, there's no way that premise is true, right? So they're putting something before Albertans that has been described as invented, as transparently unreasonable. And I'll leave it to the experts to wrangle over what is more reasonable. The fact of the matter is that what's been put before Albertans, the case that Danielle Smith has put before Albertans is not true. It is a fairy tale. And so now they're going to spend millions of our dollars to try to sell us on this idea that it's a good idea to gamble with our retirement savings. So far, Albertans are not buying it.
I think a lot of folks are looking to see a referendum-esque question on the survey. Do you support it or do you not support it? Whereas the survey is a little bit more, for anybody that's taken it, they know it's a little bit more like, what type of Alberta pension would you like? But like Bill 1, when the fall session kicks off at the legislature at the end of this month. Have you heard that?
I wouldn't be surprised. Danielle Smith is very, she's got dollar signs in her eyes with respect to what that basic number should be. And she thinks she can sell Albertans on a bill of goods on a promise of something that is not true. We launched a survey of our own at albertasfuture.ca. Just asks a very simple question. It takes 2 minutes to fill it out, and people should. I can assure the government that it is a number one priority of Albertans to safeguard their CPP, to safeguard their retirement savings, and to make sure that no one gambles with their pension.
There was little to no talk about this during an election campaign. And then I suspected that it may have been something difficult for you and your colleagues, for your party, to hit hard during the election campaign without coming across as or susceptible to being described as conspiracy theorists.
Well, they've had this report. They commissioned it 3 years ago, and they've been sitting on it for a long time. We suspect that one of the reasons why they've been hatching this egg for this long is because they didn't want to have the public conversation. We also suspect that they sent it back to the drawing board to make that number a lot more impressive over the years. There's no question they hid this report through the election campaign because they knew how unpopular this was. It was a vote motivator for a lot of people. I think it's what accounted for a lot of that PC-NDP switching. I think what they are focusing on is that big number, and they've apparently lied to themselves, so they think they can lie to others about what some very, very notional pot of gold at the end of the rainbow might look like for an Alberta pension plan. I do think that that's what's motivating them. And of course, there's that undercurrent of sort of separation, right? That we might be able to go it alone in some kind of fantasy world instead of living in a country. And that's one of the reasons why Albertans oppose this so much, is because they want to take advantage of the very clear advantages of being Canadian, one of which is the Canada Pension Plan.